Hi, I'm Cameron Waldner, and this is Volunteer Houston. Today we're in La Olivier, and we're finding out how restaurants are engaging nonprofits in new and exciting ways. We're also going to be talking with Kids Meals and seeing ways that families can get engaged to help kids in Houston. Did you know that over 80,000 kids in Houston are food insecure? Let's find out what that means together today. And then, in closing, we're going to look at Lemonade Day Houston and the impact that they're making with over 30,000 youth entrepreneurs. Hopefully soon we'll see a new restaurant opened under one of their banners. Stay tuned and find out more today on Volunteer Houston, where we're connecting Houstonians with their passions. And welcome back to Volunteer Houston. I am joined today with Mary Clarkson of La Olivier, the wonderful restaurant that we're sitting in today. Mary, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Cameron. It's wonderful to see you here at the restaurant.
Well, it's always great when we can get out and see this great restaurant, but also suck up to a board member at the same time. So that always helps. So Mary, you've been serving on the board for Volunteer Houston for, what is it, about a year and a half?
I believe so, about 2 years, coming up on 2 years.
So we really want to thank you kind of for that aspect, but you know, really today we want to talk about how y'all as a restaurant are engaging other nonprofits and really helping the community here in Houston stay engaged, but also to help with that crucial piece of a nonprofit, which is the fundraising aspect. So tell me a little bit of what y'all have been up to here and what y'all are thinking about helping nonprofits.
Sure. Since we've been open about 3.5 years. We've had an ongoing partnership with Recipe for Success, which is Gracie Kavanaugh's charity here based in Houston. We've done dinners for them in the past at the Recipe for Success house, which has been wonderful. It's been a big fundraiser for Recipe for Success. So that was kind of the foundation of laid the groundwork for what we wanted to do this year, which was a little different. This year we partnered with over 20 charities for the month of August, and we kind of titled the campaign Houston Summer of Giving. And we focused the charities based around kind of 3 core ideals that we wanted to focus on: food-based charities, community-based charities. We are in the heart of Montrose, in the middle of the city, so charities that are based in and around this neighborhood, and dog-based charities as well.
Oh, fun. So I can bring my dog into a restaurant and help someone as well, right?
You can bring them on the patio. We
On
are
the patio,
permitted with the city of Houston, so you can bring them on the patio and we'll take great care of them.
Wonderful. I think my puppies would probably get in a lot of trouble one way or another, so I'll leave them at home for this. But tell me a little bit about how nonprofits can partner with a restaurant, and what is some of the exposure and impact that doing that means for them.
Well, I think one of the things that's helped us is that we do have a little bit of age on us now at 3.5 years, so we kind of have contacts within the community that we're in. I think it's maybe a little bit harder for a new restaurant to get their feet underneath them and get contacts within the community that they're in. But 3.5 years in, we know a lot of the people that dine with us regularly, and that was really the foundation for how we started. Gracie was a customer of ours from the beginning, and it helped start a dialogue. She came to us and asked if we wanted to help out, and Olivier was very excited to work with her, and that was kind of the basic of it. So you need to reach out to those that you know before you open a restaurant, and also get to know your customer base. And I think it takes a lot of work to get something like this off the ground. It took us about 3 months of prep time leading up to it, and it was a lot of work, but it was well worth it.
It's not just a switch that you can flip on and then there's 20 nonprofits there, right?
Yeah, you have to reach out and work with them on their dates and work with their board members and everything else. And I think a lot of restaurants are busy, and it might be easier if someone approached them. So the charities, you know, I think charities sometimes are it might be difficult for them to reach out to restaurants in their community, not wanting to ask for too much, but it really makes a great partnership.
Well, and it gets the word out about them to an audience that may or may not know like how to participate. So one of the things that I'm always interested on this is, you know, if I don't have enough time to go out and volunteer, this is a great way for me to know that I'm giving back in a way. And I think that's really interesting to know that I can walk in, make an impact in a community, and that there's a restaurant that is really part of the community reaching out and fulfilling that. So that's really cool. Where did this idea come from? I mean, you just weren't thinking one day, let's give ourselves more work on the month of August, right?
No, well, yes. Nobody wants to increase their workload unnecessarily. We had participated in Houston Restaurant Weeks in the past, and that's a wonderful charity that gives exclusively to the Houston Food Bank. Obviously, my participation in Volunteer Houston is tied to the food bank. I know that's a big part of what Volunteer Houston works with and who they work with.
They're one of our bigger partners. I mean, there's a volunteer opportunity there every day. So I mean, it's crazy to see just how many different avenues people can volunteer here in Houston.
Absolutely, and I just think that there's a need for a broader outreach. So I think the idea of Houston Restaurant Weeks benefiting one charity is wonderful, but I think there's an opportunity to help more than just one charity.
Well, and there's almost 10,000 nonprofits, and you throw in the PTAs and all the other groups. I mean, it's close to 20,000 in Houston. So
yes,
you're getting, what is that? 20, is that 1%?
I think that might be a tenth or a hundredth of a percent.
A hundredth of a percent. So just increasing that capacity in order to turn around and serve is, I think, something really needed here in Houston, and y'all are making some great headway on it.
Absolutely.
So, what are some of the ways people can find out about this, not only to participate and to dine, but as a nonprofit agency?
As a nonprofit agency, they could either contact myself or Olivier. We're the co-owners. Olivier obviously is the chef and the creative force behind the restaurant.
Wonderful.
I handle more of the business day-to-day operations. So they could contact either of us at the restaurant on our website, www.l'olivierhouston.com.
Okay.
And reach out to us through Facebook or Twitter. L'Olivier Houston is our hashtag, and you can follow us on Facebook.
Fun. Are there any hashtags for what was it, the summer?
Houston Summer of Giving.
Okay.
That's kind of what we've entitled our campaign for this summer. And going forward, I think we'll adapt it. We'll change it every year. We will work with additional charities and kind of keep it an ever-evolving
So it sounds
campaign.
like it could evolve into more restaurants participating with y'all then.
Absolutely. Olivier has deep ties in the community, as well do I. He's been a chef in Houston for over 20 years, and
Wonderful.
I'm a native Houstonian, so we have a lot of friends in the community, and I do think there is a need for restaurants wanting an alternative and wanting to give back, but maybe not having the time to start a campaign from scratch.
Or the know-how to reach out to a nonprofit. So
Absolutely.
That sounds phenomenal. Well, Mary, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
For all that you do and giving back to the community, the impact that you're making with these other nonprofits, and again, completely honest, sucking up to a board member. Thank you for all you do with Volunteer Houston.
Thank you.
It's a big impact. I guess, again, the website is, I always mess it up.
No, you're fine. It's www.l'olivierhouston.com.
Wonderful. Mary, again, thank you so much for letting us come into your restaurant today.
Cameron, thank you for being here.
It was truly a pleasure. And when we come back to Volunteer Houston, we'll be talking about ways that youth and family can get engaged in volunteering and service, and moreover about what future entrepreneurs and youth can do, and hopefully one day run a restaurant as beautiful as this one. So stay tuned for more at Volunteer Houston. And again, we're connecting Houston with their passions. Welcome back to Volunteer Houston. As we continue today, we're talking about ways that youth can get engaged and ways that we can volunteer with youth. I'm joined with Christina from Kids Meals. Christina, how are you today?
I'm great, thank you.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about what you do at Kids Meals.
So I'm the executive director at Kids Meals. I've been there almost 2 years now.
Okay.
And Kids Meals is a Meals on Wheels program for preschool kiddos, kids between the ages of 1 and 5 that are not in school yet. And we're actually the only program of its kind in the country.
Really? And that there sounds like there's a huge need there for these kids. Is there? How big are we talking that your scope is?
There is a huge need. I mean, Kids Meals just focuses within the 8 loop and a little bit outside of that in Harris County.
Okay.
But we show, based on feedback from Children at Risk, that there's really over 80,000 preschool kiddos
Here in
that
Houston alone.
are food insecure. Absolutely, absolutely.
Now,
And
unpackaged food insecure for the people not in the know. What does that mean?
it means that they don't know where their next meal is coming from. So they're not necessarily starving daily, but they
Right.
are often having a hard time getting that next meal. So currently, Kids Meals is serving about 2,500 kiddos a day.
Okay.
We have 6 routes here within Harris County now, and we deliver lunches door to door. Over
Okay.
the summer, we were serving about 3,700 lunches a day.
So your numbers went up and increased over the summers.
Absolutely, because we also feed the siblings in the home.
Okay.
So over the summer, spring break, Christmas time, when school is out, then we also feed the 11-year-olds and the 12-year-olds that are home.
Now, this was founded again here in Houston. Is that right?
It was founded actually about 25 years ago. The
Okay.
concept was by a couple that saw that there were hungry children and wanted to make sure that food was getting directly to them. The name Kids Meals will have our anniversary next year. It'll be 10 years.
That's fantastic. So, how do people get engaged with y'all? Is there volunteer opportunities to come in and I guess prepare the food and?
Absolutely. We use over 7,000 volunteers a year to help us do
Wow.
what we do. We need anywhere from 20 to 40 volunteers Monday through Friday all year round to help us make the lunches. We also have folks that will actually take one of our routes. There's a route on the east side,
Okay.
and people can bring their kids, and they're actually able to also deliver the lunches that are made.
Are they doing that in their own vehicles?
They're doing that in their own vehicle. They can also ride along with one of our drivers
Okay.
on our 6 different routes. We also have companies that will do canned good drives.
Okay.
We will do Ziploc hunger drives is what we call them,
Okay.
which is
What is that? That sounds fun.
sandwich bags that we
Okay.
need in order to make our sandwiches. It keeps the lunches fresher for the kids. So
So-
we're always looking for help from volunteers.
And that's 20 to 40 volunteers a day, and it sounds like individuals can do this, corporations can do this. Faith-based, are they coming out and volunteering with you as well?
Absolutely, all of the above. We have team building projects with companies that come out. We have churches that are involved, and we actually do not actually have an age limit either for our for
wow.
families to come
Okay.
out. So our only rule is, in order for you to make a sandwich, you have to be able to stand up high enough to reach it on the table.
So my 3-year-old, as long as she may have a stepping stool, she can come out there and either make or destroy sandwiches. I don't know which one she would
A
be doing.
3-year-old might be destroying
Okay.
sandwiches. So an example of what a 3-year-old would do is we would have them decorate the lunch sacks.
Oh, that's so
So
much
the
fun.
kids
So
that
there's
we
really
serve,
something-
there's really something for everyone to do. There's always a little bit of heavy lifting that we need help with, to making the sandwiches, to decorating the lunch sacks. Everyone in a family can be involved.
Yeah, so something for everyone to really find their niche.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
I think I'd probably take over the decorating the sandwiches as well.
Decorating the
Yeah, or the
sandwiches?
the sandwich bags. I'm pretty much rubbish when it comes to cooking. So, well, very fun. I guess. And looking at this, people can find you on the web. So, what is the type of social media that people can find to engage y'all?
Via website, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We're also always posting pictures of the volunteers that are coming out and the good time that they're having.
Oh, wonderful.
We're currently located in the Heights.
Okay.
Is where our
So pretty
office
centrally
is. So pretty
located?
centrally located.
And that's where they're making the sandwiches, and y'all have all of the permitting and all of that, so they can show up and just jump right into to food prep.
Absolutely. And for
So-
making lunches, you're not required to have a background check for that.
Okay.
People can call us at our phone number and sign up for a day, or encourage a group of their friends to come as well.
And I think we talked a little bit about the website, but what is that direct link that we're looking at? Is it?
So it's kidsmealshouston.org.
Okay, wonderful. So for those looking at it, and what's the typical time of the turnaround for a volunteer to come out? So if I call you Monday, am I volunteering Tuesday? or is it a couple of days that I'm waiting to
An
volunteer?
individual probably could come in the following day. If someone's looking to have a larger group of 20 or 25 people come out, it's helpful.
give you a
They
heads
might
up.
need a little bit of a week's notice, and sometimes it might be a little bit longer, but we're always needing help from volunteers in order to be able to get the lunches out to the kids. And folks do not need to know how to cook in order to help us.
Wonderful.
We make a cold meal, so it's a
Okay.
sandwich, some sort of snack. It's either an orange or an apple or a granola bar,
Okay.
and then a drink that we put into the lunches that are then distributed to the kids.
Okay. Well, what are some of the things that people might not have known if they walked into a volunteer opportunity that they're going to walk away with after going to kids' meals?
I think just understanding how much hunger there is out in the city. When we did a survey just recently with the families that we do serve, and 1/3 of the kids that we serve, this is the only lunch they're going to get. It's the only meal they're going to get today. They're going to wait until the following day before they're going to eat again. And so when we talk to our families, and we'll ask them, what does kids' meals mean to you? And they say it means peace of mind. It means hope. Because for them, there's so many things, so many challenges going on. We know that kids' meals really serves as a first responder to the hunger disaster that we see every day. And people are surprised to hear that there are so many kids in a very prosperous city like this that are
It's truly
really
powerful
struggling.
to know that the impact you're making. So just kind of looking back at those numbers, is it 80,000? Did I hear that right? 80,000 kids in Houston suffer from food insecurity.
Absolutely. And so we're only touching 2,500 a day, and we know we have a lot more work to do.
Well, we really thank y'all for everything that you're doing in Houston. I know that the volunteers that go to y'all are super engaged. We only hear good things going on from Kids Meals, so we really wish you all the best in moving forward. Again, what was the website?
So it's kidsmealshouston.org, and they can
ma'am.
also find us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and we'd
Wonderful.
love to have them come out.
Any fun hashtags that people can use as they're out there taking the photos to engage in helping these kids?
Sandwich selfie.
Sandwich selfie. Wonderful. So we'll look for sandwich selfie, and we'll look for
right.
other ways that folks can get engaged with Kids Meals in Houston. And Christina, thank you so much for your time today.
Sure, thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
All right.
So, again, Kids Meals Houston is the organization. It's a great way for kids and the family and everyone to get engaged in service, and for such a high need that is here right in the heart of Houston. So kidsmealshouston.org is the way to find them. Volunteer opportunities are there almost on a daily basis. We thank you again, Christina, for everything that y'all are doing in Houston.
Thank you.
So stay tuned. We'll be right back, and we'll be talking about Lemonade Day and just another great way for kids and youth to get engaged in service. And welcome back to Volunteer Houston. I am joined today with Gabrielle Gunn from Lemonade Day. Gabrielle, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Cameron, for having me.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. Tell me a little bit about who you have here in your hands this wonderful day.
This is Lemonhead,
Oh,
the
fun.
Lemonade Day Houston mascot.
Wonderful.
He comes out with us to greet kids and welcome everyone out to hear about Lemonade Day. Lemonade
Perfect.
Day is an organization I've been a part of for a little over a year now,
Very
and
fun.
I'm the associate director, and we work with kids to help teach them about entrepreneurship.
Wonderful. So they can just kind of get started. I guess Lemonhead can jump away here. We don't have to hold on to him all.
He's happy to be around, but he'll step away for a second, sure.
Wonderful. Well, tell us a little bit about the organization and how it got started. I heard only good things, and that it was something that was homegrown here in Houston, Texas.
Sure, founded in Houston, Texas, 2007 by local entrepreneur Michael Holthouse. He had a vision of teaching kids about the fundamentals of entrepreneurship through a lemonade stand where we can teach them how to start, own, and operate a business. And so Lemonade Day was founded with the hope of filling that gap that we don't necessarily teach at school or in homes. And so we're here to teach that through the community.
That's awesome. So how many kids are y'all impacting every year?
Right now, there's 2 staff members that work with over 30,000 children throughout the Houston area.
That's 15,000 apiece.
Yeah,
That's
pretty much.
pretty challenging there.
yeah.
So who are some of y'all's partners, and who do y'all work with on a
Sure.
daily basis?
Right now, we work with one of our largest partners, Houston ISD, as well as Fort Bend ISD, and many other youth partners like the YMCA, Boy Scouts of America, Boys and Girls Club of America.
So this is really just a great opportunity for youth to get engaged in volunteering and service, isn't it?
Sure it is. We teach the students to not only make money, but to spend some, save some, and share some. And that's the goal, is to create entrepreneurs that will take over the companies of the future.
That's awesome. Well, tell me a little bit about the sharing some. I know as a nonprofit, that's always the part we like to hear about, right?
Sure. Well, we would like to make sure that the students that learn our curriculum go out and not only make money, but learn how to pay it forward and give back to the community. And that's a very valuable lesson that we want to make sure they learn early in life. So a lot of them choose or select a charity of their choice, and they go out and decide what amount of profit they'd like to give to those charities, and they donate to them. And we often learn about their bark donations or their Save the Tree donations throughout the year.
Well, so, and that's then 30,000 kids going out and doing that in the Houston area.
Absolutely.
That is a huge impact that y'all are making on other nonprofits as well.
That these kids are making, yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
that is one of the #1 calls we get at Volunteer Houston, is how can my kids get engaged? So we definitely want to make sure that kids can get engaged, but I think there's a timeline that they have to know. So they just can't do it, that Saturday, right?
Well, we ask children and their families to register in the early spring for our program, so they have time to learn the curriculum. And then Lemonade Day, the first Sunday of May every year, they can go out and actually launch their business, make some money, spend some, save some, and share some. And that first Sunday of May, they can go out and find a location for their business and run it.
Kind of like sitting here in a restaurant today, you have to be able to go and find that location.
Find the location.
And really make that impact. So what are some of the things that people that are going out and participating really could use an upper hand in? How do we give these people the 411 on Lemonade Day and setting up that stand?
Sure. The best way to get more information about Lemonade Day Houston is to go to our website, houston.lemonadeday.org. We also have a variety of social media channels: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest. And on those sites, they can go out and not only learn about our program, but connect with other entrepreneurs, youth entrepreneurs, to find out where their stands might be, so that they can go and find a more competitive location maybe. And they can also access the curriculum on those sites. So we'd love for them to go out and do that early in the spring, and then come out on Lemonade Day
and participate.
Now,
are there any hurdles that the kids need to do, like health permits or anything? Are y'all addressing that? How does that pan out?
Like any entrepreneur, there are permits that the city requires them to attain, and we at Lemonade Day try to eliminate those obstacles so that they can go out and have that experience without having to pay the costs. So by registering with us, they are automatically registered with the city for their permit, and the health department as well. They're registered with the health department, so they won't need to get that if they're registered with Lemonade Day. Any other time, they'll have to get that.
Super important though to get registered, because y'all take that hurdle. Now, you were talking about a cost. Is there a cost that the kids have to do, or do they have to pay their money back that they go to get out, like basically a small business loan?
So that is some of the lessons that they're taught, is how am I going to afford this business and what are my expenses? And they're going to have to figure out what I'm going to sell, how I'm going to sell this lemonade. Is it going to be powdered lemonade or bottled lemonade? So they determine their expenses, and if they find they need to find an investor to help support their business, they can determine who that investor will be and how much interest they may need to pay that investor back for the funds they borrow. And we really encourage them to come up with a plan for that and how to pay them back, and definitely to pay them back, because that is real life business in action. So.
A lot different than the lemonade stand when I was a kid, when my parents gave me that loan, so to say, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So this is really taking some business principles and teaching youth how to do it. Are there other ways that volunteers can help? Do y'all need volunteers throughout the year to help support Lemonade Day?
All the time, absolutely. And we would encourage a lot of our volunteers to either connect with our partners, the school districts, or our youth partners like the YMCA or the Boys and Girls Club. We also need adults to be caring adults and mentors to these young people that are going out and opening their stands. often they need someone to help them sell and find a location and transport their materials to those locations. So
I would
Caring
think
Adult
a car
is
would be a big thing to get to that location,
definitely
right?
hard to get an investor for a car. So if they can get a mentor, that would be a great way to support a youth in their endeavor to open a business.
So 30,000 kids, it sounds like an equal number of mentors to get out there and really help.
Yeah.
Your website is houston.lemonadeday.org.
.org.
And then you had a myriad of different social media channels to get
Yes,
on.
of course.
So again, were there any dates coming up here that people just need to be aware of every year? So it sounds like it's spring that you get ready.
Spring is the primary season for Lemonade Day, although we have opportunities all throughout the year to register. But the first Sunday in May is the primary date for a Lemonade Day for them to open their business. So if they can register before that, they have plenty of time to plan and learn the materials.
Well, Gabrielle, thank you so much for joining us today. And thank y'all for tuning in to Volunteer Houston. Today we talked about ways that youth can get involved in volunteering and in service, about ways that you can support youth organizations, and ways that when you don't have enough time to volunteer, that being part of the community and being active, that you can make an impact here in Houston. So thank you for making Houston one of the best cities in the country to live.